Pay attention. Creepy weirdo.
I would like a strong, powerful woman to protect me.
He'll fight for America.
Yeah, Poopy Square. The Playable Characters Podcast. Hello, everybody. This is another episode of...
What?
Playable
Characters
Podcast.
We do funny interviews with real video game characters. That's us, everybody.
Yes, and sometimes you learn a lot about tech stuff.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Last episode,
very educational. Yeah,
and 30 previous ones, you've heard Calvin mention some crazy stuff that he alone does in the bedroom, all by himself.
What will we learn today?
Who knows? We'll find out. But this is a Playable Characters Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Level 60 something. I don't know. We're almost at that 75 mark.
Yeah.
What's that called? The
75 mark?
old.
Is that the
gold year?
anniversary?
The
Or
gold,
is that diamond?
something, I don't know.
Is 75 diamond?
The 3/4.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Let's call it 100. So anyway, join us on Twitter.
Yes.
At Playable Podcast and at Playable Podcast on Instagram. Send us an email. Some of you guys did send us some. It's playablepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and seriously, let us know if there are any characters you want us to play in the future.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to come on the show.
Yeah, you can't play them unless you're really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. We'll reach out to these characters, see if they want to be on the show.
Right.
Yes.
That's how
And
we
we'll
do
kind of get them on the show.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
Yeah.
And seriously, let us know if you have any sex questions. I'm here for you.
Yeah, Calvin will answer those.
Yeah, if you subscribe to the bonus content, we can answer all your sex
That's right.
questions.
Yes.
And
Give us a rating on iTunes.
Yeah.
And a review.
Yeah.
Preferably a 5-star one.
Yeah.
4 or 5 is good with
Yeah.
me.
If you have less
this
than
is
4,
fives.
talk to us first.
Yeah.
I have immigrant parents. You got to do 5. Only 5.
Join us August 11th at 1 p.m. at the Long Island Retro Expo. It's coming up.
Yes.
Live podcast,
Live
special
show.
guests. It's going to be amazing.
You're going to see how we all wear pajamas when we do this podcast.
Yeah.
But you guys don't know that.
We wear
It's a
one
podcast.
three-person pajama.
I wear a silk kimono.
We're all in one pajama. So
It's a
anyway.
horse with 3 parts.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's dive in, guys. Speaking of us reaching out to guests to get
Yes.
them on the... Actually, this guy reached out to us because he wanted to tell his story. Not her story, Calvin, and tell us what's going on.
What was that?
It's not good. This game, by the way, was my go-to arcade game.
Yeah.
This and Final Fight.
This was a dope
I
arcade.
loved NARC. It was such a fun. It was so different. Great game. The music was incredible.
Remember how you open it, it comes out and they just fly out of the car?
We're going to talk
So
about
cool.
that.
Okay, yeah.
So we have the blue cop from NARC, Max Force.
Blue Narc.
Hello, Mark.
What is up, fellas?
How are you, man?
I'm fantastic.
This is like I'm giddy.
Should we call you Max, Officer, Force, or what?
Max is fine.
Max? Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are you still an officer? Or have you been promoted?
No, retired.
Oh, that's
okay.
good
Got
for
my you.
pension.
Full
Nice.
pension?
Full pension.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm proud of all the work I did, but I feel like lately, with some of, I think some of the ways that people are looking at police work differently.
Yes.
People are looking back at some of the work I did to try to rid this country of its crippling addiction to drugs, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a lot of flack.
Oh well, you went in there literally guns a-blazing.
Yeah.
You had your machine gun, which hey, we all have. Most cops have machine guns, and you had your rocket launcher. Right.
Yeah.
You would just blow people away, bums, druggies with needles, dogs, whoever like deserved it got it.
Well, I would say the drug system is very complex. There's a lot of different players.
Yeah, and that's where it starts. I mean, first off, you make it sound like it was my idea.
No,
Like I just woke up one day and was like, "Oh, I'm just going to take it upon myself." No, we got a letter from Commissioner Spencer Williams, and he said that the drugs had gotten out of control.
Yeah.
And he tried to send in special forces, but they just couldn't handle it. And it was too obvious. They needed something more covert. They needed something underground.
Covert.
So they put my partner and I in brightly colored jumpsuits.
Right. Yeah, right.
Put us in a brightly colored Porsche
Helmets.
with a front license plate that said "Say No or Die." And they sent us into the streets to do the hard work that look, the rest of the system couldn't handle. Guys, this is the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, sure, you can police New York now with like a whistle
Right.
and like
Yeah.
politely asking people to stop. This is the 80s, brother.
Yeah, it was.
It's a different world.
Yeah.
Sort of Hulk Hogan right there for a second. Yeah,
Yeah, it was intense.
it was. I mean, there was.
I was gonna say, did you feel influenced by Nancy Reagan because she was so very like anti-drugs?
Just
and it
say no.
80s,
Was
you
that
She
her?
was our silent third partner. Like we were the ones doing the work, But
Was
I
she in
feel
the
like
earpiece with you or something?
Yeah, exactly. We would get personal correspondence with her,
Nice.
just letting her know how much she approved of our work. Look,
Oh, that's
I mean,
cool.
it's
Nice.
It would be cool. And honestly, like,
Did you get like a presidential medal for it then, or?
I'm not supposed to talk about it. It's
top
covert.
secret medal.
It's let's just say my neck rarely gets cold, if you know what I mean.
I think so. That's
Is
like
that
a
a
catch.
scarf joke, or is that you were talking about medals?
He gets a medal.
Medals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a catch-22. Like you get this award, but you can't show
I'm sorry.
people.
I'm sorry. I can't expect you guys to understand Presidential Medal of Honor humor.
No.
Right, sorry, yeah, we don't have any.
I guess that's a little inside for you guys.
We haven't gotten one of those yet. Hopefully for the podcast, we can get one day.
My apologies.
That's okay. So, whose idea was the rocket launcher? That's like, it was the craziest thing playing this game when you could just explode random bums and druggies.
See, I think this is the misconception that hurts me the most.
Okay, let's hear it.
Is that everyone gets up in arms when one cop blows up 30 people with a rocket launcher. But how many of those same people would have been killed by other people in their neighborhood? See, this is the part that people and this is uncomfortable, and this is the part. Look, I get it. I get that with the political correctness. Look, our lives are on the line every day.
Sure.
We're doing the hard work. Blue lives matter. Red jumpsuit guys matter. This is look. I mean, you're getting all. Everyone gets all like uncomfortable when
Yeah.
like a dude gets torn apart by a rocket launcher. But what about the slow death of smoking marijuana every day and losing all your drive?
Yeah, that's slow 50 or death.
No one's
It's really
outraged
bad.
about that. No one's protesting in the
He's got
streets
a
about
point.
that shit.
He's got a point.
That is a
That
slow
is true.
death.
Well,
Yeah.
but what about due process? I mean, have you ever been sued? Because I'm sure that those drug dealers have families who may have.
Well, he
wanted-
did bust some. You could remember you could bust people in the game if you just stood still for a second over them. You would bust them, and they would like go to jail.
How many people did you bust?
At our office, at the end of the day, we were actually, strangely, we had a point system,
Okay.
and you were actually, our office would give us more points if you took the time to bust them. But like
Yeah.
honestly, like who wants to stand still for 2 seconds?
Yeah, you get shot
forever. Come on. Also, I mean,
That's
look,
a lot of paperwork. Also, if you have to.
so far, I think also you guys are being really hard on my side. You guys are leaving out like what I was up against.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
yeah, let's
the
talk
villains
about
and the
that.
enemies. Who like the guy with the needle. Yeah, you had that crazy. You had Kinky Clown was one of them.
Yeah, Kinky Pinky.
Kinky Pinky, right? Yeah.
Pinky.
Yeah, it's
was
they
like
were
the-
weird erotic clowns with
He was
knives.
like a deranged pervert clown.
I mean, to be honest, like while we were murdering, or I'm sorry, while we were suppressing them-
Policing.
while we were suppressing their criminal activity, it did seem curious about how they even got involved in the drug trade to begin with.
The clowns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was them. There was the big guys on PCP.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Why did you guys have Porsches? It seems like a kind of unnecessary for you guys to be in
Company
Porsches.
car?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, sometimes you got to get out of trouble fast.
Right,
and,
that's true.
we were, look, I mean, you can bring the drug trade to a slow stop over the course of decades. I mean, we didn't even take time to come to a full stop when we got to a
That's
scene.
true.
We would jump out of the car while it was still moving.
Sometimes you slam right into a dumpster too. They do that pretty often.
Yeah, but luckily, like a lot of times when that would happen, strangely, like we'd also find a new Porsche,
Yeah.
like the exact same color within a couple blocks.
It was just the most '80s thing. Like
It's a lot of Porsches.
the
That,
kids playing in the arcades in the '80s, like, oh, this guy's got a Porsche. He's so cool. Like Miami Vice.
I mean,
And
it's
then a Ferrari. But
It's still pretty
First off,
cool
guys,
if you
it's
date
so
a guy with
cool.
a Porsche.
First off, don't trivialize it. It was
No,
cool.
No, it was cool.
Yeah,
Totally.
pretty
no,
fucking
of
cool.
course,
I know it was
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about police forces in other video games? Like, for example, the Streets of Rage guys, because I mean, they definitely were not as lethal as you were.
Not even close.
I think that I mean
Final
look,
Fight.
I mean there's some people who want to try to stop crime with like tiny tweezers. Sometimes you got to use a sledgehammer.
Or a
You
rocket
know?
launcher.
I mean, look. I mean, this is like you got people out in the streets smoking marijuana, occasionally taking mushrooms, and you're like, yeah. I mean, I guess you could like just beat them with your fists, or. But that's the kind of soft on crime approach I just can't
Right,
abide.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried to like go into their departments and like sometimes like police officers have an exchange program where like a police officer goes to a different department.
I offered to do whatever the opposite of sensitivity training is, where I go into other departments and I'm like, guys, you guys are being way too cool with the way you're treating suspects.
Yeah. Take this rocket launcher.
First off, you're explaining how the cross-examination went, or the interrogation rather. You're explaining the interrogation. That means you brought them alive to the police station.
It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right? Just
I mean, how do you interrogate someone? I'll never know.
yeah.
Yeah, because you can't talk to body parts.
Are you a fan of Judge Dredd then?
Oh yeah. Oh god. It at least. Well, I think what I liked about him is like less overhead, like less management. Because like, I mean, I'm out there doing the hard work that we all know needs to be done.
Sure.
But then like at the end of it, I mean, there was like one time after one of the specific ones after we took down Mr. Big's hideout where because
That's the guy from Sex and the City?
No.
yes.
No. Okay.
Oh, it is him?
Same
What?
guy.
Same guy.
Whoa.
He was in Sex and the City. He had that relationship. Then later he lost his ability to walk and was bound in a wheelchair and ran a drug ring. And that's when I had to murder
Same
him.
guy.
And he was
Oh,
a giant head. He was like a giant mafia guy, like head. Like that's all he had with the hat on.
Yeah.
But then,
Which is a bit weird. Is that?
But after that happened though, because the body count was so high, I, as a police officer, they were like, "You've killed all these people," and what you were saying before about the repercussions. I wasn't sued directly, but because of those events and the outrage about some people had a tough time that I had to do the right thing, I was given 2 weeks paid suspension, which is
That's tough.
back in the
I mean, look, as cops, I mean, the punishment never ends for us.
yeah.
Like and it's brutally unfair.
Yeah.
Those 2 weeks fishing were like the hardest. I mean, honestly, that was the lowest point of my whole life.
Do you bring your rocket launcher when you fish?
Yeah, I mean, first off, absolutely. Same reasons. I mean, you could do it with a tiny fishing line, or
Right.
like,
Why not get 50 at once?
I'm trying to get these fish out of this lake.
Seriously.
You
Menace. Yeah.
you have a very extreme all or nothing personality. Did that start in childhood? Like,
Yeah, that's life, man. Look, it's all or nothing, and if you don't see it that way, you're nothing.
That makes sense.
I'm not going to apologize for seeing the world as it is.
Now your partner Hitman, right?
Yeah.
Red jumpsuit guy. You
Yep.
guys still talk? Are you like? Did you grow up together? Like, how'd they pick you two? Because you both definitely had the same one track mind, so to speak. Not in a bad way.
Yeah, I think sometimes I think sometimes in an office or like just any work environment, you just have that person you just click with. You know, like every day at work, we're both kind of sitting on the edge of our desks with our 5 o'clock shadows, drinking our coffee and stuff. Like both of us were always in the commissioner's office like every day, and he was talking about how like the mayor was up his ass about all the problems we'd caused. We were kind of, I don't know, loose cannons. If
Did
you
they
will.
ever like ask you for your badge and gun?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so many times.
They probably didn't get it.
There's a point where it's like I just was like, at the end of the day, I would just expect to leave it with them and like pick it up tomorrow. It was almost a daily occurrence.
Okay.
Now, is that your real name, Max? Is that your Christian like those seem like code names maybe?
No, is that? I mean, I guess my full name is Maximilian Force. But
Okay.
like that's
Yeah.
Oh, so it's Jewish.
You guys get it.
Yeah.
Sounds Jewish.
It's not his Christian name. He's Jewish. I think. Okay.
So how do you feel about all the decriminalization laws that are happening today? You know, weed is decriminalized in New York, and in California it's legal.
To me, it feels like a forfeiture. It feels like we.
Lost the war on drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
did all that work
It feels
in
like
the
a white
80s.
flag.
Yeah.
It's a white flag, and it's like all these kids are out there throwing their lives away.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, all I am is just a simple man who tried to help. You know, and now they've just like thrown it in, and now it's like you go to the park, kids kicking around hacky sacks, makes me fucking sick.
Is that illegal to kick around a hacky sack? I
Should
don't really
be.
know the laws.
Oh,
that
God,
way.
it should be.
I mean, look,
Fucking fish.
your game, or I guess your real life, Max. It changed my life. I mean, I've never done drugs, and I think because of that game,
See?
I was scared to get blown away by a rocket launcher.
I mean, honestly, look. I mean,
I'm straight edge to the max force.
it is.
That's me.
Look, I get your wordplay.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it.
Thanks.
It's yeah, look, I mean that's the thing. I mean, I think our work, it's not just the people that we blew up with rocket launchers who will no longer be able to grow marijuana. It's also the people we influenced, the people who saw us blow up those people with rocket launchers
Totally.
who now were like, next time they're at a party and someone's like, hey, you want a hit of this joint? They're like, no thanks, bro.
Looking around for someone with like a blue jumpsuit.
Yeah, I'd like
just
to
in
keep all
case.
my body parts
Yeah.
attached. I'm cool.
The guy that scared me the most in that game, like level 2 or 3, was like looked like he had kind of like a mullet, but he had those hypodermic needles, and he would just
throw them like darts and they just go forever.
yeah, and they would but you would get hit all the time, and like it scared me, man. I don't want to get thrown, but hit, and they were giant needles,
That's how people get hooked
at
on
least
heroin.
a foot long. Yeah.
I mean, there's rare people who seek heroin out. Mostly, it's someone throwing it across a room and it hits you, and then you're addicted. and now it's a death sentence.
See? That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, probably a lot of those needles had HIV on them too. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And I'm
assuming,
tall,
yeah.
so they're always going to hit me in the head, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm always scared.
Were you tall when you played the game? Like they were using
was
a
always
character
tall.
that's proportionate to your height?
I was always tall, yeah. Yeah.
Now, normally, can I ask you a question? Normally, NARCs are like undercover officers. Did you ever do any like undercover
Well,
work?
he had a mask on.
I mean, look,
had a helmet.
before Project NARC, before the work that I'm most well known for, I did attempt some undercover work. I think the reason it was less successful is I was wearing the same outfit.
Yeah.
The sleeveless blue jumpsuit and motorcycle helmet,
Right.
which, I mean, I think in like drug exchanges, you come up and you're like, hey guys, know where I can score some cocaine, but you're wearing that outfit. And you're
Right.
like, this guy's either a cop or very into cocaine.
Right. It could go either way. You could,
So you always had it on. So it always looked a little suspicious, you're saying.
Yeah.
I got you.
I mean, look. My number one passion is stopping drugs. My number two is helmet safety all the time. In the car, out of the car.
Yeah, because you're not a good driver, so that's
Yeah.
always good to have a
drugs
helmet
kill
on.
people. CTE kills people. I'm playing it safe.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I remember. Yeah,
Oh no, I'll wait.
I remember the soundtrack to the game. It was so. It's like one of those movies, like those '80s cop movies that were just like running in and shooting bad guys. It was just so fun to do. Did the NARC game have the gun, like peripheral in the
I
arcade?
can't remember. Oh.
I think no, it didn't.
No, I think you just fire. You
It just use a
yeah,
controller. I
normal.
was curious. Yeah, I was wondering. If
I
it
mean, I
had
certainly had a gun while I was working, and look.
Wait, no, you know, I think it did. 'Cause I think you pushed the button on the side to shoot the rocket launcher. I think some of
You're
them
thinking
did.
of something else.
I could be thinking
I think
something
Max
else.
would know better about his gun
All right.
usage.
No, it was we certainly had to use the gun. I mean, it was just. I think that for us, like. The music was part of what made it work.
Oh, so
You could. It was
Yeah,
in your original.
we have the helmets on, but we have the headphones just blasting it. And it's honestly like, I think with that kind of work, it's like you don't have to hear like the screams of anguish as you're shooting people.
Yeah.
Because it's all like, like it's, it's just, because you don't want to hear that.
No.
Like, all that's going to do is like ruin your, it's
That
going to
rocket-
kill. It's kind of a buzz kill.
Yeah.
Buzz. You're getting a buzz from killing all these people.
That rocket launcher sound eventually gets old.
I'm sorry I enjoy my work.
Oh, sorry. No,
yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, God forbid I enjoy my job.
Come on, Al.
I see
Do you
that-
like doing the podcast?
I do. I see that you've downgraded to just a simple assault rifle now that you're retired.
Still carrying it.
Yeah.
I think age mellows a man.
Yeah.
I think that it's these days I'm like I don't think there's any problem that like 12 rounds can't take care
Right,
of. I don't need to, I mean, I think the hardest thing is the self-awareness. Look at yourself in the mirror and being like, am I going too hard? I mean, because I'm just a suburban dad now.
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask
You
about
have
your
family?
family life. How'd you meet your wife?
My wife, it's a very funny story.
I can't wait. That's what we do here.
Yeah, so I'm out in the streets. It was actually there's the Kinky Pinkies and
Yeah.
putting an end to all of their crime. And there's also some pimp gentlemen throwing dynamite. She's on the street. She sees me working. And like we kind of make eye contact, and there's kind of like a thing.
Oh.
And look,
In between all this chaos.
yeah, and you hate to mix work and pleasure, But it was like, yeah, I mean, so I stop all the shooting, and I'm like, "What's up?" And she's like, "Hey."
And you could hear her through the headphones and how.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I'm
Push pause.
One of my family members was deaf growing up, so I'm excellent at reading lips. And,
Oh, wait, was she, forgive me, for a woman of the night, so to speak?
first off,
Yeah.
how dare you?
I'm sorry.
She happened to be working in that neighborhood. I don't think she was ever clear about exactly where.
She's a working girl.
At the point, yeah, she worked.
She worked.
She was always kind of unclear about her past.
Oh, yeah, guys.
Like I asked a bunch of questions, and she'd give me kind of a bunch of like vague answers and stuff.
Like a Don Draper situation.
I think
She did know that neighborhood pretty well.
I think she was a prostitute.
No, I don't think so. Maybe she was just like a courtesan.
No, prostitute.
First off, how dare you?
I'm sorry.
That is my wife you're talking
And
about.
I'm sure she's lovely. Most of them are.
What's her name?
Candy.
Is short for Candace or just straight up?
Candy
Again,
Force.
she's so vague. Even after all these years, she's so vague about her past. She's never even answered that question.
Oh wow.
Did she take your last name? Because Candy Force is a pretty cool name.
Yeah.
She did. It's pretty great.
I would love to be on the Candy Force.
I know. Seriously, I'm into that.
We got Space
Yeah.
Force coming up soon. Candy Force.
It's ironic because she's diabetic.
It's too bad.
I guess that's where the Force comes in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And
like-
how are your kids? Do you want? Are they going to go into law enforcement
have
in the
kids?
future?
Yeah.
Or
I do. I have one kid. I have a son, and he's so young. I'd like to push him towards law enforcement, but with what it's become now, it's all of a sudden it's like two-hand touch. You know?
Yeah.
It's become this shit where it's like you can't do anything anymore.
How old is
You
your
know?
son?
Huh?
How old is he?
He's 11.
Okay, so he's starting to get that.
What
age
about
right.
vigilantism? I mean,
there you
there's I think a need for it now.
Yeah, more than ever.
You should-
It's that's a hard talk to have with your kid. Taking a knee, tell him to get into vigilantism. Right. You ever think about filling a pillowcase with batteries and solving some shit? Yeah, it's I was gonna wait until he's 12 to
Yeah.
kind of break out that kind of stuff.
Maybe you can be kind of like the Watchmen. You'd be like regular guys, but like putting on costumes and solving some crimes. You know.
I mean, it sounds pretty fucking good to me.
So what do you do now that you're retired with your full pension? You got the kid at home.
Mowing the lawn, fishing.
A lot of fishing.
Yeah.
There's been an insect infestation in my house that I've been arguably overly passionate about putting an end to. People say I go too far.
How
I don't
so?
know.
How so? Dynamite.
I did use a flamethrower at one point.
Hey, so-
Hornets or something? What are you fighting?
Everything, man. It's the suburbs. I mean, I'm talking about hornets. I'm talking about like dragonflies.
yeah, it's summertime.
Dragonflies are-
Summertime.
Yeah.
They're really
It's-
harmless, I thought. But
But they're huge though. Some of them. They're
People
scary.
say that. People say weed's harmless.
Hey, he got
some
you
people
there.
do say that.
He
Yeah.
got you
Yeah.
there.
Next thing you know, like they're not in your house. You're in their house. You got to establish dominance. It's that's the only thing insects understand, or anyone. That's the only
dominance.
thing. That's the only thing the world understands.
Yeah.
It's either they work for you or you work for them. Period.
I ain't working for no dragonfly.
Yeah. No thanks.
I
Sorry, I'm late I'm late home. Dragonfly. No thanks.
Yeah. Cool. You can fly backwards. So what?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You can fly downwards. Motherfuckers.
And your wife is okay with this?
Yeah, I mean, there's this kind of weird. I think we just don't talk about it a ton. I mean, it mostly comes up. I mean, when the flamethrower, there was a house fire incident, which is when she became aware of it, and she wasn't super pumped about it. In general, she's out a lot. So I mean, that's why.
Oh, so she hasn't retired.
She's
yet.
still working, quote unquote.
She's still a working girl.
Oh, you know, it's she loves her job. She's like out all the time. She also she's like a bunch of friends. A lot of whom I haven't met, but she's like she's
Right.
busy. She's very busy.
Does your son look like you, Max? Just curious.
Wow, Brian, that's rude.
No, it's not rude.
No, I think it takes out more after her and like maybe just her family. It's a lot of facial features that don't really look like either of us.
Sure.
right. Okay.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's
Sometimes they skip a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine.
Or a couple.
who knows how genetics work? No one does.
no
No
one
one knows how genetics work,
No one
and there's
really
no
knows.
way to get to the
no,
bottom
no,
of it.
Especially not Mendel. No.
No.
Calvin
No.
was pre-med, but I don't think he knows.
No, I don't.
No, okay.
Look, I mean, there's no way to know.
Can we talk about this? The way you, I don't know if this is ever been brought up. The way you guys walk.
I'm not kidding. This is what I was going to bring because your walk is a very
You kind of
sachet.
You kind of strut and
samba.
sachet.
They're wearing Kevlar vests, right? So like that's.
But why did Carol Rest make your arms move? In
It's
weird
adorable. I used to
Mambo
love that,
number
and it goes with the
5?
music perfectly. Is that just it's
Look,
just,
I
Like,
don't,
why are you kickball changing across the?
look. The fact that some people have referred to our walk as a bit of a sachet
It is a bit.
is very upsetting.
Yeah.
It's like there's a stigma against people who choose to walk with confidence, a strut, if you will.
it's super common. There's no question.
Yeah, I'm
it
sure
is.
like you guys walking like some super beta, fucking shoulders down, fucking like down in the dumps, feeling bad about yourself.
Yeah.
I'd say if you got it, flaunt it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like putting a little hip in my walk. It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great part of the game. It struck me as unique.
Look, we're just two dudes who spend a lot of time together, who drive in a red convertible in tight jumpsuits with jazzy walks. Period.
Nothing more. Nothing. Yeah.
No, not no overcompensating at all.
I don't know why
It's not.
people think that's weird.
It's
Honestly,
not,
I'm getting kind of tired of
I
explaining.
mean,
it.
it is the '80s. It was a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you guys do with all the drugs that you confiscated?
Tons.
Look, I mean, a lot of them we'd turn in and we'd get points, as I discussed earlier, with our office. There were some times where one of the tough things is you've got a Porsche, which doesn't have a lot of trunk space.
No.
And sometimes you confiscate all these drugs.
Right.
And then like they'd have to sit in the main cabin and you're driving in the car, bouncing around a lot.
Right.
Sometimes there were some concerns that like some of that might have been getting in the air and possibly affecting our thought process as officers.
Like chemtrails, leave like a trail of cocaine and weed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in hindsight it was weird. There were some times where like we would go into drug situations and like people would sick pit bulls on us and we would shoot those pit bulls and instead of like dying, they would turn into smaller
They turn
dogs
to
and run
puppies.
away.
I thought that was like a miniaturizing gun you guys had.
At the time, I thought nothing of it, but in hindsight, I'm not sure
kinda weird.
everything we were seeing.
Was real, yeah.
I mean, like the clowns, the kinky clowns.
Yeah.
Calvin, is that a real thing? Is that a thing known in the gay community? The pinky clown, pinky
Kinky clown?
kinky
Kinky
clown?
pinkies.
Kinky pinkies.
Oh, well, I mean, that's also a straight thing. That's just universal.
Oh, it
Kinky
is.
pinky,
Okay.
Yeah, kinky clowns is.
Oh,
That's
look
like furries.
Who invited Captain Vanilla over here? Someone's never been to a clown sex party.
Seriously.
Oh, Jesus.
Step your game up. Come
Yeah.
on.
Who invited the Virgin?
Yeah, can you imagine like if you say you had like a big dog one day and you weren't, it was too big, you could just like punch it and it would turn into a tiny dog.
Well, it acts like a tiny dog if you punch it enough.
Oh jeez, maybe.
Whoa. Maybe you're not fucking because you're too busy abusing animals. You fucking.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a practical tip.
I think for someone
Not too
Michael
practical.
from the dude who spends the whole podcast trying to make me sound like a psychopath. Guys,
I'm talking about the game. Olive.
I'm sorry.
I did not expect this, but I think I may need to go. I am offended.
This is our first guest to walk
That
out.
is that is no way to treat dogs.
No.
But yeah, rocket launchers with people, like you just sometimes there's no other
Yeah.
way to like because they're just gonna keep going.
Could you bust the dog? I forget. Was that a thing in the game? No. Could you
Send them to puppy prison.
the puppy camp? They would know a difference.
Yeah, I think dog prison is just
enjoy it.
like
Yeah.
fun. For
I'm
them.
not sure they would fully understand their Miranda rights.
You have a right to remain adorable.
What's the difference
Yeah,
between a
I
kennel
think it would
and-
be challenging to put their hands behind their back.
Yeah, they can't stretch that way. Yeah.
No, I don't know if that would be effective.
So what's in the future for you? I know you're retired now, but do you try to volunteer at places
You and
or volunteer for
Hitman?
DARE?
Yeah. What, you and Hitman do anything?
Yeah, I mean, I always briefly considered some security work, but that just, I think some people.
It's too defensive for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to, if I'm going to be security at an event, so I got to wait for someone to get out of line before I do something about it.
Right.
That sounds like cowardice. It sounds like I'm just so I'll just wait in the shadows for you to come up with something shitty to do. No, I feel like I trust my gut.
You're proactive.
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's this person, and right now they're having a fun time at this birthday party, but they gave me this look that's like something's going to go down. I'd rather suppress a problem before it becomes one.
Yeah, I feel like you got a real Minority Report attitude here. That's good.
Yeah.
You want to prevent that crime before it even happens.
Yeah.
Or I feel like Minority should report you for.
Yeah.
Both, maybe.
The office filed several minority reports based on my police work.
There's plenty of white people in the game.
Again,
though.
it's not, look, like I said, I see certain people and I see crimes in their future. And look, I'll be honest, I don't even see color. So the fact that so many of the people happen to be different ethnicities.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, cool. I guess they are those ethnicities.
criminal or not criminal. Those are the only two things you see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does. Are there clusters? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think classes is the right word to use.
Look, I don't. I'll be honest. I barely think about it.
Was there any issues with collateral? Like, let's say you're shooting a rocket at some guy, and then maybe a piece of it goes into an ice cream shop, and
And
shatters.
people get bonus flavors. I get it.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people get more flavor than they were. Sometimes Baskin Robbins has 32 flavors.
Yeah.
I get it.
Glass is one of them.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It happens.
And again, I mean, I haven't had it personally. I don't know if that's making their ice cream better or worse.
Okay,
So,
that's true.
but yeah, I mean, where you're going with that with the collateral is look, sometimes you shoot a rocket launcher. It's not. You don't have complete control over where the shrapnel goes, but also the person, just because they're not holding a gun at that moment, you don't know what their personal life is like.
Right.
Maybe they're cheating on their taxes. Maybe they're
Just
you
to be
know.
safe, you
maybe
just want to.
they're abusing dogs.
Yeah.
That's not against the law.
Sometimes you're
Oh, it is.
Is it?
Of course it is.
Again,
Okay.
Michael Vick.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Sometimes you're sitting
gambling.
right
I thought he
across
was
from-
gambling on the dog fights.
He was
That's what.
drowning
And
puppies
drowning the
Well,
puppies.
I mean,
and
with his own hands.
I thought it was the gambling that was the issue. I didn't realize.
what?
Okay, all right.
No, it was the more of the animal.
My
abuse.
bad.
Holy shit.
Wow.
This is upsetting.
I think all needs a ride along with you, man.
I know.
Yeah.
See
Well,
how-
he's retired. I mean, it's all.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd steal a
Can you
cop
put
car and
Alf
do
in a
it.
scared straight program to like teach him the error of his ways?
I'd love to. I mean, like, look, dogs. Every dog's life is significant. They need to be respected. They need to be treated well. You cannot mistreat dogs. If there's one thing,
Yeah.
like, you just can't do it.
All dogs matter.
Yeah, all dogs.
dogs matter.
All dogs matter. You can't. But yeah,
Except those little shitty white ones that just bark all the time.
Even
yeah, come
those.
on.
They're kind of annoying.
Okay.
You know?
well, it's tough because if you shoot them, they can't turn into smaller dogs because they're already in such a small form that at a
Yeah.
certain point they're just. It's like a Russian doll
So-
scenario.
The gangs must have hated you guys because they even had helicopters, which is not a common, it's not a cheap expense.
That means they're making a lot of money selling drugs.
Right, but he would blow them out of the sky pretty regularly with his rocket launcher. They, I mean, that probably made them the maddest. Like, we just got this helicopter, and Max just blew it to smithereens.
Yeah,
That's
the
what they
one
said.
thing that makes me feel the most guilty of everything I did is how rough I was on their transportation.
Property
I just-
damage.
Yeah, that's what keeps me up at night. Well, also when I was talking before about the cocaine bouncing around while we're driving, there was part of the 2-week suspension is there was some discussion that some of those helicopters we shot down may have been news helicopters covering
like traffic.
See?
covering the good police work we were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is, there's no way to know.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
No, not
I mean,
anymore.
because it could have been drug dealers that put a news badge on the side of their helicopter.
That's what I would do if I was a
and
drug
then
dealer.
had posed underground as news workers at that agency. I mean, you don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably more likely.
Wow. So you just never know people's lives. So you just shoot first and ask questions never.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kinda.
I mean, what's in that for me? Like, there's no fun going down that road. Just
Yeah.
keep moving.
It's just it's all this
What are you supposed to give out surveys before
all
you
this
shoot somebody?
paperwork, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not even like standing still for 2 seconds to arrest them. I'm not going to fucking like, oh, before I blow your head off, on a scale of 1 to 5, how pleased with you are this interaction? Like,
I mean, I understand. I mean, if a dog has teeth, it's a dangerous dog, is what I'm saying.
You got teeth?
I'm a vegetarian.
I'm going to be honest. The way you're talking right now sounds like drugs talk.
No.
You've been doing drugs?
Actually, he does smoke weed.
Do I?
What?
No, I mean, I have a persona that I put on for the show. Where I talk about it's like a
Yeah, me too. I'm actually a
like a
huge
drug
cokehead
like a
off-
druggy
off
character,
mic.
druggy Allop. I do druggy Allop sometimes on the show, but you know, it's
I know we're joking around having a good time right now.
yeah.
But I'm not fucking laughing right now.
I think you scared all up. You scared
I thought you were a cool sober guy like Brian over here.
Yeah.
Turns out you're fucking.
super cool over here.
Awful.
Turns out you're taking-
I'm a vegetarian.
Turns out
if
you're
that
taking
helps.
a ride on the Green Line. Uptown.
Uptown.
Express.
The green line.
We got to go see one more. I want to talk real quick about Mr. Big. So he was a crime boss, just a giant head. But when you half killed him, he turned into this repulsive skeleton, you know. And he started
What
spitting.
actually
He
happened-
started spitting roaches at you. Like, what was up with that guy?
Wait, roaches like cockroaches? Or roaches like
Part of it
Cockroaches.
was.
Maybe, maybe it was like a metaphor, actually.
Oh.
Mr. Big was a handy capable. I'm sorry, I try to use the right terminology.
yeah.
I know that you're getting better. That's good.
Crime lord. Look, I mean, it's all I can do is my best. All I can do is be better than I was yesterday.
Be best.
best.
Be best, Max.
Absolutely. We fought him originally. Then what came after that giant head was that was a machine that he had built. So
Yeah.
the skeleton head, it was his backup system, which again, like when your whole life is selling narcotics, some of your ideas will be outside the box.
Right, yeah, that makes
and as a security system, that one was certainly one of the most interesting that we ran into.
Sure.
Most people would go more the pit bull's machine gun route. He went the giant disembodied head with skeleton
It's
underneath
creepy.
that spits
Yeah, maybe he's watching
cockroaches.
Ninja Turtles or something. And he got some crime.
Again, you wonder how much of that was happening and how much of that was the cocaine that had bounced around in the car.
In
on
the
way
air.
there.
Cocaine
Yeah, that's a
dust.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
That air coke. It's just,
that was amazing.
It's the 80s. Everyone's breathing it in.
Yeah, it's on money, but that's like a thing, right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Every dollar bill has like 40% cocaine on it or something like that. They say.
Oh, even 40% cocaine on it, I would just not be doing this podcast anymore.
You said you're sober, Calvin.
Yeah.
You just said that.
I mean,
Yeah, try
because
not to-
I would be busting people and taking away their dollar bills and be like, we gotta burn this shit.
Yeah. You just start opening your wallet and just licking all your money immediately. Like, why don't you take a cold shower?
My friend would do that. I wouldn't because I don't do that.
We
Unlike
got
a lap over.
to go soon,
I
Max.
know.
Anything you want to tell us? Any you know?
Anything you want to promote? Any books, projects, or are you going to be on TV or anything like that?
I mean, look, what I want to promote is just the same long-time thing I promoted my whole life, say no to drugs. Mm-hmm. It's either way, it's a death sentence.
Yeah, I mean, you've made me the man. I
Either
am
the
today.
drugs or from a rocket.
Yeah, I mean, just think of all drugs as just a slow rocket launcher. It's still coming towards you. It's just coming real slow. Like those Mario levels where it's like the bullet. You see it coming from a long time. Yeah.
See? Lay off the drugs, both you two.
Okay.
Calvin,
I mean, I'll stop doing that character if you want.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, the other thing I'd like to promote is weirdly very specific comedic tastes. And I would follow Dave Kinney.
Oh, good.
On,
He's
Twitter.
a really anti-drug comedian.
He fights the good fight
Sure.
at David Kinney, Kinney. It's a big thing to promote, but yeah, I
He
think
does.
that's
He also has a very good sachet walk too.
very
Yeah,
jazzy.
he uses his hips. a lot.
Dave
yeah.
gets on stage, he sachets.
Yeah.
Oh, he
It's
is
a lot of
Next
arm
time he
work.
does, he's
A lot
gonna
of-
do it
heavy shoulder work.
subconsciously. Hey, you want to play a quick game with us, Max? Before we head
I would
out?
love to.
Let's play a game, guys. Of Wed, Bed, Dead. Okay, so this is a game, Max. Ready for this? We're going to give you 3 video game characters. You're going to tell us who you want to wed, who you want to bed, and who you want dead.
Okay,
Sound good?
got
Do
it.
you know about Dad?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We got 3 very different.
only get to choose one for dead, huh?
Only one.
Only one.
just
this
one,
time,
just
sorry.
one. Very different here.
And some of these people are not on drugs.
Yeah,
So.
some might be. Who knows? This first one, she is from Final Fantasy VIII, Ultimisia.
Oh,
Right.
she's the final boss.
Is it Ultimisha or Ultimisia?
She looks like an evil sorceress with wings.
So interesting.
Long nails seems high maintenance.
Yeah.
So interesting enough, I just found this out recently. It's like a Japanese translation. Her name is supposed to be Artemisia.
Oh, that sounds like
It's-
a disease. I
Yeah.
can't come out tonight. I got my
Something you come down with.
I got Artemisia.
My Artemisia's flaring up.
So she is this.
She's the final boss. She's
Yeah,
a
explain.
sorceress. Well, actually, it's interesting.
She's a
speaking of mi-
sorceress. Okay.
Yeah,
Evil
speaking-
though.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. So speaking of
Not like
minorities,
the He-Man sorcerer. She's good.
Well, no, not. No one could be like the He-Man sorceress. Well, no, she was. What do you call it?
I don't know.
When people are prejudiced against someone.
Racist.
Race. What the?
A bigot.
Persecuted. There we go.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying. Not. I mean, also, yes. So she was persecuted for being a sorceress. So then she turned really evil. So I kind of. I mean,
it's a chicken.
So
and the
she was
egg
like a
situation.
witch.
Hashtag not all sorts.
Yeah.
People like get out of here. People like get out of here, witch. It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
And then
She's
she
like,
got
I'll
mad.
show you which.
She's like,
Yeah.
that's our word.
Yeah.
You do not.
Interesting. Okay, but she's
How
got
dare
these
you.
big horns,
Yeah.
red.
But she is evil though. She's
red
trying to
sexy outfit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
She's trying to destroy the universe, but it's because people used to persecute her.
The whole universe.
Yeah, but I mean, you
It's a
know,
lot, right?
well, a lot of people were mean to her.
All right. Next one.
Sounds like a.
Sounds like if people
Like
were
a
tolerant, she
snowflake,
wouldn't have
yeah.
had to do that. Sounds like the real villain of that game are the people who persecuted her.
Next one is a dude, kinda. It is Cyrax, the yellow robot from Mortal Kombat.
He's a yellow fighting robot
Yep.
with dreadlocks for some reason.
He's
Why
got
does a robot
dreadlocks.
need
Yeah,
dreadlocks?
why
But-
not? He was the best robot to use.
Yeah, because he had the bombs in the net.
He had the net. My God, that was a good move, man. No one used Sector in the arcades. I tried to, and people were like, "What the fuck, using Sector for?"
Yeah.
You know.
Sector sucked.
Yeah.
All he had was that flamethrower.
Yeah, he had some bomb. He had like the missile at it, but it was hard to use. But Sector was Cyrax was a cool.
I think
enemy.
Cyrax is actually black though, right?
Oh,
Like,
what?
I hope
Oh, yes,
so.
he
Or
is.
originally.
He-
Otherwise, that's cultural appropriation on those dreadlocks.
right. I think he was. Yeah. He was
And I'm not
black.
nuts about that shit.
I mean, aren't robots appropriating human culture anyway? So it's
guess.
basically all robots are culturally
Pretty
appropriated.
soon.
But I think
Hashtag not
we're
all
building the
robots.
robot. So are we?
Yeah, who knows?
We're giving them the culture.
Okay. No, I'm not giving them the culture.
Yeah. Last one.
King Boo.
King Boo from
Oh.
Super Mario Bros. Giant, evil, but not really
Monarch.
ghost.
Ghost. King Ghost.
He might
King-
also be misunderstood.
He's got a crown. He got a big old mouth and a big old tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you look at him, he disappears.
What is it? He just stops.
Also,
Stops.
Just
a
stops
lot of
moving.
teeth,
Stops
though.
disappears.
Heavy teeth.
Tons of teeth.
If you're going to mention the big mouth and big tongue, I think you'd be remiss to not also mention the teeth.
Lots of sharp
Yeah.
teeth.
Upside
so-
downside.
Would
Yeah.
you abuse King Boo since he has a lot of teeth?
I might. I don't. I think I'm not a pro ghost. I'm anti ghost in
All
general.
right, Max, you want to go first? So you got Ultimisia, Cyrax, and King Boo. Wed, bed, dead.
Good question.
It is.
Tough choices.
I would say it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, because only one of them is a true living creature. So
Yeah.
It's true.
one of them is already a ghost, and the other arguably may not be alive, may have never been alive because
Yeah.
it's a
Oh no,
robot.
he was alive, but he's literally a shell of his former self. So
Oh, that is a
He might
very
not
good
be-
use of the word literally. that is correct. Yeah, I think. God, it's tough. I'm gonna say wed Ultimecia, if only just because of what we talked about. I mean, look, she's not bad. She's a victim of persecution.
Yeah.
And it's so easy in situations like this to come down hard on the person who's only responding to what they've been given. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that could work out.
So compassionate.
yeah.
Yeah, gotta have a pretty big heart to do what I do. And I'm gonna say bed. I'm gonna say King Boo.
Oh, interesting.
Look, I think Cyrax is gonna be a little hard on the junk.
That's true. He's
Yeah.
No matter which way, it's whether you're given or taken. Like I can't see either of that being like pleasant. King Boo, I think at worst, it would just feel like nothing.
Right. It's a ghost.
Also, it's nice to be able to say you fucked a monarch.
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to think of myself as a star fucker, but it's, it doesn't hurt.
Why not,
And
right?
Cyrax just never had the attachment to it. Also, I'm going to be honest with you. As a cop, not in love with the dreadlocks.
Oh,
not.
okay.
Wow, dreadlock.
Hey.
Is that code?
Remember what I was saying before? Sometimes you just look at someone and you get a feeling.
Yeah.
And who knows where that comes from? Who
Yeah.
knows where the feeling comes from? But you have that feeling, you got to act on your instincts.
Yeah. That makes
That's
sense.
how I feel.
I think that's that word I was forgetting again.
You got to make a split-second decision
Oh,
based on dreadlocks. Okay.
you go.
Instinctive. Is that the word?
Fewer syllables.
I think
This is,
fraught was the word.
Tough decisions
It
here.
is. But
Tell me more about Cyrax. Give me some more Cyrax.
So
information.
he used to be a black ninja, and then he got captured and turned into a robot.
So he has the mind of a black ninja, but now he has the.
Why does that make a difference?
he's like Black.
No, I mean, is
he's
he
like Black Dynamite.
Like, what's his personality? Like, I don't know. Maybe he was like,
I mean, he was a murderer, but I mean,
so he's like an evil ninja.
well, I don't know if he's evil.
Are there benevolent ninjas?
There are.
Yeah,
I mean,
Shinobi.
have you ever seen American Ninja? That
Right,
was a good
right.
ninja.
How about Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley?
What about Three Ninjas Strike Back? They were nice.
They were nice.
Those were kids. They didn't have malice in their bones.
I mean, there's a handful of examples. Ryu Hayabusa.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very tough, man. I think I
Oh, so
want
actually,
to.
no, I will say Cyrax is kind of nice. He did help another character in one of the games.
One time. All right, that's not.
Like helped him move.
I could pick up this couch all by myself because I have a robot body.
He had his bungee cord net thing that he used.
I think I will. I think I'll marry Artemisia or Ultimecia.
Ultimecia. Yeah, married. Well, obviously that's your
Like,
thing.
Be married. You don't have time to learn to pronounce it.
She's a sorceress, she's got powers. I like to be around powerful people. You know what I mean? And that way she'll protect me. I'll get to live in her.
Oh, she lives in a castle, so you do like that.
I love that kind
Yeah,
of
he
stuff.
loves it.
I like to marry for money and power.
All right.
Like Melania or something. I guess I'll kill Cyrax. I might be doing the same things as Max here.
Damn.
Because I'm not going to sleep with a
metal
evil
robot?
metal robot ninja. That doesn't seem
All right.
like there'd be any fun pillow talk or intimacy there.
No, it will be. He'll be like,
Hi, I love you.
No, yeah, exactly. That's not
I
what
will come soon. Ever.
I feel like if he's a robot, he can just come whenever he wants. Like, why do I have to come on? Anyway, no,
So what's that even gonna be like? Fucking like motor oil?
yeah, it's gross.
Sounds like a lot of cleanup.
also, how do you have sex? I'm sure he'll just come on his own. It's fine.
Yeah, go take care of yourself. No, I'm gonna kill him, and then I'm gonna. I guess I'll have sex with King Boo.
How? You jump inside of him or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna go inside his body and do some fraudage with
Oh, okay.
inside inner fraudage.
Does he have
Inner
a
frottage.
inner is that a movement? problem?
Frottage.
That's just anal sex.
Frottage.
All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. These are difficult choices, but I think I'm gonna wed Cyrax.
Protect me.
look, having a ninja robot around is pretty cool, pretty badass. Those neighborhood kids will leave me alone finally.
Are you getting bullied a lot?
No, I'm not.
Just curious based on all these.
I'm not, but I'll never. But here, like,
Why do you have that bruise on your face?
I'm good. I'm good. But I think
Max,
having
I think you should come out of retirement, look into this.
a ninja robot and having the net and the bombs.
Is there violence in Kew Gardens?
No, I'm fine.
Do you need someone to suppress violence in Kew Gardens?
Max, I promise you, I'm totally fine. I'm gonna have my robot soon.
Are those Asian teenagers picking on you?
Are those Asian teenagers doing drugs?
It's a rough
They
neighborhood.
are. Yeah. It's so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun thing to have around, I think. Now, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think I'm gonna have to bed Ultimisia here. She might be very mean during it.
Got wings. That's got to be fun.
Wings and the horns are scaring me though. They're big. Those are big horns.
That's something for you to hold on to.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll getting all kinky.
Yeah,
then,
doggy style.
But then King Boo, I'll have to try to dead him somehow.
Maybe he'll come back to life if you dead him.
Yeah, well, there
You have to
go.
like bring him back to life and then kill him.
Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. So those are my choices.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Not too happy with it, but that's what I have to do.
It's tough. Calvin.
This is a little bit difficult. I only figure out who I want to dead, which is King Boo.
Yeah.
Or I'll exercise him.
there you go.
Because there's nothing there, and like I'm not fucking Mist.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
He can't
Mist
talk.
with teeth.
He just goes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That laugh is creepy. I don't want to hear that for the rest of my life.
You don't want
bad
your whole
sex
body to be
sound.
covered in ectoplasm?
Ew, no.
And you can never say, "Damn it, honey, look at me." He can't.
Exactly.
He literally can't look at you.
Exactly.
He'll
Yeah.
just stop. He'll
No
close
eye
his-
contact. That's a real killer.
ever.
It's hard. I need eye contact with sex.
Yeah. So all
Or
right.
any sort of relationship.
Boo's dead.
Boo's dead. So I'm gonna have to.
Make the right choice.
Okay. I'm going to.
If you don't fuck a black ninja, you're off the podcast.
But he's a robot. That's the problem. And I just don't.
You can talk about black stuff. That's what you always
And
want
the
on
thing is
every
that
podcast.
That is a factor.
Yeah.
We can't talk about black stuff and oppression. You know, I'm sure he'll understand since he's a robot.
He's doubly oppressed. He's black and a robot.
He can probably turn his hand to make go like back and forth really quickly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but that's hard and cold. I mean, does he have
Yeah,
a warming?
Of course he does.
Yeah,
he have
that
a
sounds
word
like a
mechanism?
recipe
He's
for
a-
chafing.
He's a super high tech futuristic robot.
If he has like
Get him a
warming-
glove. Get him a nice wet glove or something.
Wet glove.
Get some
Do
sort
you
of.
understand how sex works? Get him a wet glove.
Get him a fleshlight attachment or something.
Listen,
I don't
all
know.
up is part of the wet glove movement. Okay. I think. All right, go.
So I have figured this out. I'm not really happy with this, but I'm going to wed Ultimacia.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Because I mean, the thing is we both get it, both being oppressed minorities.
Yeah, you get it.
See, we could talk about being black together. I mean, she's white, but Sorcerer's thing. With the Sorcerer's thing, she understands the oppression. And I'd be like, yeah, I get it.
Is
Like,
it the
it's
same
hard.
kind of oppression that you've faced?
I mean, it is because I can also make ice with my mind, but
okay.
it's tough. I get it. We could be like, it's tough. And we can argue about things together and complain about white people in this big castle, which is kind of my dream anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm into it.
That's a unique form of oppression.
Yeah.
when you're complaining from a castle.
Sounds terrible.
And the service here is terrible.
No, I would love to have.
Can't find a good butler. I get it. Oppression. Look, oppression's hard on everyone. I get
Having the
it.
sorcerer
it
thing
is.
around is kind of cool.
The struggle is real, okay?
Yeah.
And sometimes the struggle means, oh man, these people hate us, and we're in this castle and it's stuck, and
Yeah.
But we're living with monsters. I mean, or the bestially inclined. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, where else are you going to be able to talk about people who are more privileged than you than from a castle? I get it. It makes total sense.
Listen, one day you'll understand.
Fair.
And then I'm gonna bet Cyrax. I mean, I'd have to
Finally.
really figure out what the capabilities.
That
are.
comes later.
Yeah, it's got to be
okay?
a talk first.
Yeah,
We
you'll,
really
you'll
have to-
figure it. You'll figure it out.
I mean, I would hope so, but I just don't know. I mean, he
What if
must
you-
have a warming mechanism.
Something. What if?
But
what
where
if
am
he-
I gonna put my penis in?
You'll figure it out. What if he brings in Smoke and Sector and all these guys? Huh? Big robot.
Okay, I'm not a
Big
whore.
rope.
How dare you?
Whoa.
Kinda.
I don't need a ninja cocky. All right, I just want
Ninja
regular-
cocky. Love it. That's got two meanings. Oh man, that was fun.
But anyway, yeah. So Cyrax.
All right.
He's black. We got to stick together.
You have to. You almost killed him though. You almost killed him.
Tough choices.
Max, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, fellas. Thanks for hearing
Any
me
message you want to send to the listeners before
I
we
mean,
go?
there's one.
Like I said, just say no.
Say no.
Say no or die.
Say no.
Or die. Yeah,
Or
that's
die.
The only choices. Like P. Diddy, vote or die.
Is that what he said? Vote or die?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, you got to say no. You got to vote.
Yes.
That's it.
Rock the vote and say no.
Or die.
I
Or
would
just
love
die.
to work for P Diddy and enforce that. Find everyone who's not voting.
All right. Guys, thank you
All
so
right.
much for joining us. Have a great rest of your
everybody.
day. See ya.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.